Today on the channel, we got a WWE Mattel Reveals recap where we break down the good, the bad, and the downright ugly.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here for a little bonus toy news video. As in today's video, we're breaking down all the WWE Mattel reveals from January 17th, 2025. Of course, we do reveal videos on the channel all the time, but this one butt right up against the toy news, which I was getting ready to film. Looking at my notes, I said, you know what? I'm going to separate these out. I'm going to get all the WWE Mattel news together for this week in one separate video, and that leads us to this right here today. But like I said, January 17, 2025, all the Mattel reveals. The good, the bad, and the ugly. That's exactly what it was here. We saw some totally new stuff. We saw some stuff we knew was coming all the way back from San Diego Comic-Con. And some things being solicited and shown pictures of in box images for the first time as well. And usually when you see that, we know they're right around the corner. So without further ado, let's dive into all the news. Let's get into it right now. But earlier this week, big news out of the WWE TNA relationship. Apparently, they've come to some kind of formal agreement, so much so they wanted to do a press release on it, where before it was seemingly, I guess, a gentleman's agreement with a handshake. Now there's a press release for this one here. So WWE TNA partnership taking off. Of course, NXT, a big part of that, as we have seen. But longtime viewers, and I've had quite a few people message me, which means you pay attention and you remember a lot of stuff I say. About 3 months ago, and I've talked about it a few times since, there was a lot of rumors on the dark web. Yes, the dark web, Todd McFarlane, the dark action figure web. Todd always shows me this. He always says, come over here. You got to see what I'm reading right here. But there's been rumors that there was going to be a special one-off Mattel line of some sort with TNA characters. So you're thinking about, you know, the Motor City Machine Guns, AJ Styles, Abyss. Some of those guys that are involved with WWE, signed to WWE, that came from TNA. Now with this agreement, I think there's a lot more smoke, where there was maybe a little fire going on now, I guess we could even say at this point. But I wonder if that's going to come later this year. I guess we'll have to stay close to that one. We talked about that about 3 months ago. There was even rumors of that. So we'll see. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it'll come to fruition. Or maybe it's Todd McFarlane in the dirty dark web. We never know. But we do got that going on, but wanted to point that one out there for sure. But now diving into some of these reveals today, let's go to Elite 116. I think we saw a lot of these at San Diego Comic-Con for the first time, if I'm not mistaken. And speaking of TNA, Mr. TNA at one time, AJ Styles. And AJ Styles giving us his hobo look is kind of what it looked like to me. Very strange. It was just a quick moment in time. He wore this big oversized coat, but now we get it in action figure form for Elite 116. Looks good for what it is. It's been a while since we've had an AJ Styles, so I am here for sure for this one here. One that is, we talked about the good, the bad, the ugly. This is the ugly for me, and I like Randy Orton. I got no issues against it, but man, he is not very toyetic from where I sit. It's right here. He's just not. I sit right here at this table. It feels like it's always the same body, and then just different trunk colors. That's about it. Occasionally he'll get a new tattoo, but I feel like they need to do something to freshen Randy Orton figures up. Maybe a thicker body style would really go a long ways for that, because he's really beefed up since he's gotten older, maybe, ever since he came back from his back injury. How about that? He's really beefed up, bulked up. We need to get that in figure form. But we got Orton in the regular and Chase in 116. Not a ton of meat on the bone for the Chases. You know, it almost reminds me of that Malachi Black long time ago, where I think the knee pad was the only thing different. You get a little tight differences. Not a ton of meat on the bone right there. So we do get him in 116 times 2. Kevin Owens back again. New shirt. New Kevin, I guess, is what we have with him, but it looks okay. Not a terrible Kevin Owens, and once again, we've had a lot of Kevin Owens, as we do know. We do get a first time in the line. You know, I'm always here for a first time in the line, but not first ever wrestling figure, as we did get her a part of AEW way back when. But Jade Cargill officially in 116, her first WWE figure. Gotta say, it looks really, really good. And to me, the head sculpt's not far off from what Jazzwares was doing. And you have to wonder if maybe they had some help, because, you know, Magic was over there at AEW, the Jazzwares, I should say. Now he's over at Mattel. Maybe he had some insight into that. But At the same time, it's the same person. They should look pretty similar. So we do got Jade Cargill coming. Looks very nice. So can't wait to get that in the collection. Always love a first-timer in the line, which leads us to another first-time in the line. NXT superstar Lexis King, of course, the son of one flying Brian Pillman. Looks like a lot of love was put into this one as well. I like the looks of this. You never know with some of these first-timers in the line. Is this going to be first time and last time? I guess we'll see. And we're seeing two performers here where traditionally the last couple of years, a lot of the first-timers in the line went to the main event line. This time they're going straight to Elite. Have to imagine main events in the future as well. But two new ones in there. That's always fun. And then a return to the line. We talked about Lexis King. Well, now we get his father, Brian Pillman, to finally match our Steve Austin from back in the day. Long game tag team completion is what that one is. Have to imagine that Steve Austin will rise in value here the next couple of months as people try to track that down to pair with that Brian Pillman. So if you got a hold of that Austin, you might wait a little bit to put him on eBay. You might make some more money here in a month or two. But we do got that. That is Elite 116. A stellar lineup. Can't wait to see what that one looks like. I'm currently in the midst, as I'm filming this, of unboxing Elite 115. So those reviews will be up on the channel here. And once again, some good, some bad, some ugly. Some really good character selection. Some bad news as far as articulation and some of the issues we've had out of that. No good Vietnam factory. And then a few downright ugly instances as well. So stay tuned to those reviews on the channel as well. But that's Elite 116. We also saw something very, very cool in NWO 3 pack. Now we're seeing the rise of box sets. We just recently unboxed that Samoan Dynasty pack. We also unboxed the Evolution pack. Well, the next go around, apparently we're going to get an NWO 3 pack. Very much R3 era is kind of what it reminds me of. But it's the NWO taking over the WWE. The Hulkster figure in this one looks suspect to me. There's something about it that looks really weird. I will definitely display all three of these with the jackets on. I do think in the pictures they look better with the jackets, but we'll see how they look once I get them here at the table. But very cool. I love a good box set. I've always loved a box set. When I was a little kid, anytime I got a box set, it was just injecting the poison in my own fig fed as a kid is what it was, because you get 3 new characters, 4 new characters, whatever it may be, instead of just one at a time. So it was always an exciting time. And a lot of box sets always were, here's your Easter present, here's a present for your birthday, Christmas. That's usually when you got those kind of box sets. So always felt special. Love that we're getting these historically now at Target and Walmart on a steady basis. Can't wait to see what the next Target one is as well. But the NWO 3 pack coming in very hot. Got to think a lot of collectors will be after that one as well. But then we move into the Ultimate Editions. These are the ones I think were first announced at San Diego Comic-Con. They've already went up for pre-order at ringside. Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10%. We got the Ultimate Final Boss Rock, and I reviewed, it hasn't went up yet. I'm still working on it, but a couple days ago I did review the 115 Rock, and I'm like, wait, aren't we getting an Ultimate? And I was like arguing with myself. Well, this confirmed it. Yes, we are getting an Ultimate. So you'll see it in that video. And I'm sure somebody in the comments will say, well, Kyle, they just announced it. Yeah, and it's not live. It's not a live show yet. One of these days, we're just going to do all these reviews live. It'll be crazy. But the Ultimate Rock is coming. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again right now. Ultimate Final Boss Rock could be my favorite Rock figure ever. I love Final Boss Rock. I love his attitude. I love all the cussing. I love the violence. I'm here for it. It's my favorite incarnation of The Rock ever. Sacrilegious to many, I understand it, but you like what you like, you don't what you don't. Love the Ultimate Rocks. Can't wait to get this with that new title belt as well. Damian Priest, and it's no stranger to any figures, of course. We just recently unboxed a 2-pack with him and Finn Balor over on Kyle Peterson 2.0, my second YouTube channel. Check out that video if you did miss that one. But he's cool, looking really cool in his Skeletor gear. I'm here for Skeletor. My world's combining. I'm always here for something like that. Looks really good. I will say that Money in the Bank briefcase, it looks like it's beyond a briefcase. It looks like it's his luggage, and he's going on a 2-week trip. That's what it looks like to me. A very, very big briefcase for him. So it'll be interesting if that's just kind of in the image or if it's actually really that big compared to his size. Guess we'll find out soon. And then the one we're all waiting for. We've all been desperate for it. My childhood heart's been desperate for it. We're getting the Great Muta, regular and Chase edition. Cannot wait for this Ultimate Great Muta. Cannot wait for the year of Muta. Can't wait to get more Great Muta figures. Give me all incarnations, as he stole my heart as a little kid. Just getting into wrestling, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And of course, face paint never hurts if you want to get into Kyle's heart. definitely worked out. That's how I met my wife. First time I met her, we were at a bar. There she was in full Ultimate Warrior face paint. Just got back from a Slayer show. I said, this is the woman of my dreams. And Great Muta wasn't too far off of that from like 7, 8-year-old Kyle, let me tell you that. But can't wait to get those Ultimates. Look really, really good. Have to be here in the next couple of months, I would have to imagine. Usually when we see glamour shots like this, it's about a month or so away. So stay tuned for those reviews. Cannot wait. A little bit of a throwaway item for me and probably a lot of you guys and you gals out there. But they did show the new Top Picks packaging, and they're giving it the Netflix branding, which is very interesting to see. I guess co-promotion, trying to push that Netflix brand. You completists, especially if you're on card completists, you're probably like, oh, are you kidding me? I have to buy the same figures over. But I usually like it when the Top Picks have a twist on a figure. Maybe it's almost like a Chase variant because they do change the colors of the figure. These seem to be straight re-releases. We got LA Knight, no stranger to the lines, of course. Dirty Dom, we got Dominic in there, and then we got Damian Priest once again. All look to be straight re-releases unless you're an in-the-box collector. Then you probably got to pick these ones up. But easy pass for me right there. We also saw a Money in the Bank cash-in ring. So these are always cool to get things like this every once in a while. Once again, not going to be for me. But if you got a kid out there playing, needs a new ring, a lot of fun with this one. Even a bell brings me back to the old Galoob WCW days. So cool to see a new ring. And I feel you have to have that kind of stuff on a regular basis. The Wreckin' type stuff. You got to have that for the players out there, not just the displayers like myself. So it looks good for what it is, but it's not for the adult collector. I don't think. I guess it could be. It's your collection if you want to. The ugly for this one here, and I know this might be controversial. We'll see. You guys sound off in the comments. Monday Night Wars. The latest Monday Night Wars wave was announced, and to me, this just felt like a greatest hits wave. It didn't feel like any fresh ground was broken at all in this wave. We do got a Gorilla Monsoon, so a lot of people missed out on that Walmart exclusive way back when. I remember the great Gorilla Hunt on the channel. If you guys actually remember that, that was the first ever figure hunting video on this very YouTube channel. The first time I ever went on a fig hunt with the camera, me and good friend of the channel, David C. Anderson, we went and hit a couple of Walmarts and found our gorillas. Between us, we each needed one. We did find it, but Gorilla looks to come in his red sport jacket. Now, this is really interesting because that's how I have him displayed right now, and it looks like there is some differences between these two, very small ones. The glasses seem to be different. That was the first thing I noticed. And then the old Gorilla came with a pair of black arms and a black coat or the red, so you could display both looks. Well, of course, I went to the red maroon because that's kind of what I remember him at more. But now I'm going to have to dig through all my fodder piles and everything and display that old one in the black. This one will be in the maroon. Make them different. Make them feel as different as possible. I didn't see anywhere in the picture, so I'm assuming it's not, but we all know what happens when you assume, Todd McFarlane. But I wonder if this new one does come with the black jacket. It would be really cool if it did. Then it would save me having to dig through my fodder pile at least. But a lot of people are going to want this Gorilla Build-A-Figure. The only weird thing about this Monday Night Wars Gorilla was he really a part of the Monday Night Wars? I mean, it was a very sliver in time when he was like the president of the WWE taking over for Jack Tunney and stuff. So maybe, I guess they are kind of really stretching it down there with some of the razors that we got with the vest on not too long ago. So he's just squeaking by. And I think a lot of people say this is more new gen, not Attitude Monday Night Wars era. It is what it is, though, but a lot of people are going to be happy to get Gorilla back out in there. One of my all-time favorite performers, one of my absolute favorites of all time, getting a line, or should we say re-release here in the Monday Night Wars line. It is my man, Ken Shamrock. A few updates here and there. Those boots look absolutely atrocious, really bad on those boots. But I love Ken Shamrock. Happy to get this. Just not a ton of meat on the bone. Once again, we've had this one way back when. But that is a recurring theme. We've been talking about it all last year. We're going to be talking about it probably even more this year. Mattel's been around so long, they got to give these popular attires, they got to get them back out there to all the new collectors and stuff. And people like me and a lot of longtime collectors, we're dinosaurs in the ever-changing toy market. Not a lot of people stick around. So you get all this new blood, these new kids, these new young adults getting into it for the first time. They want to get some of those legacy ones. And then along the way, they got all the new bells and whistles. So always remember that Mattel would rather get the money than have people from on eBay make $70 on an old Ken Shamrock or whatever it is for an example. So I always have to wear the business hat. That's why I got that on today. But Ken Shamrock going to be in the Monday Night Wars line. Diamond Dallas Page back again. He loves being in this Monday Night Wars line. And this is the DDP I prefer over the last ones in the Monday Night Wars line. I know everybody loves those ones. this is my DDP. However, this is basically the third time we've seen this one. New head on this one, and we do get a shirt. So I do appreciate a little bit of differences with this DDP here. And then once again, we're going back to the old Toys R Us Network Spotlight days. We're getting Stone Cold Steve Austin, the old ringmaster from his time with Ted DiBiase, back out again. Once again, to me, it doesn't feel Monday Night Wars, and maybe my line of Monday Night Wars isn't equal up to what Mattel actually believes, or even WWE believes, I guess is what it is. But we're getting this Austin back out. And then we're getting Bret Hart for a WCW side figure. Basically a re-release of the Goldberg 2-pack, which is pretty hard to find. His U.S. Championship title run back in the day. And instead of being kind of a salmon color tights, we actually got the pink tights this time. So constant learning, constant improvement, constant ache on our wallets here. But man, a very disappointing Monday Night Wars line. I just really kind of just went, oh man. Really? I wish they would have called it Greatest Hits Monday Night Wars Line Series 2, because having it as the official part, it just, I don't know. And I just don't know where this line's going to go. I have a weird feeling in my gut we're going to see just more of this kind of stuff. Not a lot of fresh ground broken. However, I'm hopeful. There was that leaked list a week ago or so. We talked about that in the toy news. Hopefully some of that comes to fruition, because there was some excitement on those lists. Once again, we'll see if that ends up happening, if that's the real thing or not. So Monday Night Wars for me, pretty disappointing on that one. So hopefully they rally. Hopefully the next set is 10 times better. We'll see what happens. Talking about a few other things, we did see the latest Mattel Retro stuff coming out. Of course, there's Brother Love and The Ring. Looks like they're going up for pre-order in about a week or so. So got a little while too if you want that. And it's wild. We've talked about it numerous times. Retro Mania across wrestling is sweeping the nation. Sweeping the world really at this point. Is Mattel just kind of ancillary at this point? It feels like nobody talks about the Mattel Retros, and I think a lot of that is you get maybe 2 releases a year through Mattel Creations, maybe 1 or 2 via Ringside, and that's it, and you don't get a lot of hype, where all these other retro companies, the Grapplers and Gimmicks, the Epic Toys, the Zombie Sailors, the KWK, they're hyping their stuff all the time on social media. We just don't get that from Mattel, so they're not quite top of mind. But we are getting Zeus. Always got to get Zeus out there. Got to get every mold of Zeus we can from every single line. Can't believe we haven't got a WWE Superstar Zeus yet. You got to think that's coming in the future. We do got Rip to go with Zeus. Is pretty cool. And then, of course, grab your Kurt Fuller figure from Grapplers and Gimmicks. Put him with that. Very cool idea for Mitch over there in Grapplers and Gimmicks to get the Kurt Fuller to go with these. I'm here for that. And then we get 2 females. We get Liz and, of course, Sherry. Got those in this line here. Really feels uneven without the Macho Man Randy Savage. And maybe Brutus Beefcake, depending who you ask. But looking good here. It'll be an interesting set. Definitely a different set, we'll call this one here. But I'll be picking that one up, there's no doubt about it. Now, a little bit of news that came, I think, last Saturday or late Friday last week that we didn't cover in the toy news from Mattel. They did officially show us some renders and images of the upcoming SummerSlam, of course, pay-per-view series wave. That will be the William Regal Build-A-Figure. Now, we've all been wanting William Regals. He was on that leaked list I was talking about just earlier. William Regal back in the WWE family, getting action figures here. And this is a 2-in-1, so it's going to be a little bit difficult here. Going to track down 2 Build-A-Figure bodies or another suited body. Have to figure out a way to do it, because I would like to display both looks for him. But our first of the return William Regals will be the Build-A-Figure in the SummerSlam wave. We do get HBK and Triple H from the SummerSlam match. I think it's cool that you get guys that actually fought in the same match in the same year in the same set. I think that is really cool. Triple H, not a ton of meat on the bone, I gotta be honest there. Kind of is what it is. A lot of reuse, but reuse, as we know, the name of the game. The Shawn Michaels, very exciting, a little inaccurate there, and I really wish we would have got a new head sculpt for him. I'm over that head sculpt of Shawn Michaels. Looks like somebody shot his dog and he's about ready to cry at the funeral is what it looks like to me. Get all kind of that entrance gear stuff, which is reuse as well. I do love the jeans. I do love the wife beater. I do love the fight there, and that was an amazing match. I remember way back when thinking, my gosh, if he just takes a bump the wrong way, he'll be paralyzed. I remember just thinking that the whole time, which was pretty awesome. So I do like that HBK a heck of a lot more than the Triple H. I think the Charlotte Flair in this set, and Charlotte's a name we just don't hear anymore. She's out injured. She's got to be coming back maybe at the Rumble. I don't know what her timetable is. But this Charlotte looks really good. I think they maybe nailed the formula finally for Charlotte. So I'm very excited to see how this one nets out in the collection. And then last but certainly not least, we get smiling Roman Reigns. He's showing off those veneers. He's looking like $1 million. Big smiley face for him. So we got Roman Reigns in that SummerSlam lineup. And then last but certainly not least, big news to a lot of people, music to a lot of people's ears. It is Mattel Creations news, as this week they did put up some Monday Night Wars figures, some Legends figures, of course Walmart Target exclusives, up on their website. So now people that can't find them at stores for whatever reason, people in the UK, things like that, where shipping is just wild. It's still probably wild, but you can finally get these figures a lot easier. And maybe not immediately, but at least there's going to be another chance to get some of these figures outside of the conventional, going to your Target, Walmarts, or even their online shopping. A lot of people are going to be happy about this one. I know Mattel's been trying to work on this for a long time as well, and the feedback's been there. Why can't I just get superstars of Mattel Creations? Why can't I? Well, I know nothing, of course, but there's always kind of rules with these exclusives. A lot of times, you know, okay, it's a temporary exclusive. We're seeing it with NECA all the time. Target, you get it for 60 days, 30 days, 90 days, whatever it is. Best Buy gets a lot of that as of late. After that, it goes to all retailers. So I don't know if Mattel changed up some language or if it even mattered, if they even had to. Whatever the reason may be, Walmart, Target, they'll still have their exclusives, but you'll have a second chance over at Mattel Creations. Now, we've seen Hasbro doing this for a lot of years here with a lot of different stuff. Now Mattel is finally getting into the game. And like I said, it could be a business thing. They had to wait for a contract or an agreement to expire, or they never got around to it. Either way, you can now pull these off. That is going to be pretty thrilling to a lot of collectors, I have to imagine, as well. So, quite the busy day of reveals. Some, like I said, good, bad, and ugly with this one. Hopefully, quality issues, that is the biggest one I'm fighting through with 115 right now. You'll see it in those reviews. Make sure you check them out when they're on the channel. But I hope they can right that ship and we can get back on track to where we want to be with Mattel. And we, like I said, we got some good stuff coming out of here and some stuff I do scratch my hair at a little bit there in my head as well at the same time. I don't know if my hair scratches, but you know what I meant. You know what I meant. So there it is. Little Mattel reveals. What are you excited for? What's your thoughts on any of these? Anything you can't live without? Anything you're disappointed in? Anything that's a straight pass for you? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, you made it this far, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bells. We got videos every single day, and then some. We got even more content for you, of course, over there on Patreon, your best way to support this YouTube channel. You get everything from both my YouTube channels ahead of time. You get the glamour shots, Q&As, giveaways, you name it, it's all going down on the Patreon channel. Appreciate all the support over there. ProWrestlingTees.com, search Kyle Peterson, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram and TikTok for now. I don't know what's going on with that thing, but if you know, you know, I guess, and I don't know. So there you go. But for January 17th, 2025, that's the Mattel reveals. I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
We're going to the end of the line.